problem is when you aren't in these groups and you're sort of on the edges, as it were, like you're not a member, you are aware of them and you know they film things because they film the boxing night and things. It can seem quite intimidating trying to get involved, if you know what I mean. It can
Yeah,
seem
I
quite...
tell you what always shocked me. When I first joined YSTV, like I was like day one, like, yes, I definitely want to do this. And I turned up and then there's all these people there that have been there not for that long. Like they're only 1 year above you. And yet they seem to have the expertise of proper professionals. Like, where did they learn this? Like they started at the same place I did. And yet these people, they know all the terms. And what's kind of fascinating is that that knowledge has been passed down to them by previous members of YSTV, dating way back to 1967. There's an unbroken chain of people passing this information on. And that's where the knowledge that eventually goes to proper big TV companies comes from. But it was really intimidating. Like you turn up and how are these people experts in their spare time?
It still is. But that sort of transference of information still happens, and it still has to happen, because there was a case in URY where that chain was broken ever so slightly in one of the departments, and so the next head didn't have any of the right information to continue that role. And it was like very obvious when, you know, there's this new person who's never done that sort of thing before, hasn't received that information from the last one, and it didn't carry over as well. It was quite an, you know, it does reveal in a way how intense these roles are, and how academic they can almost be in how much information you have to retain and know. And
I always felt bad that I was like a whore to several societies, and I was never like a proper bona fide get really stuck in member of any one of them. I think in all of the societies that I was involved in, there were these core members who lived and breathed it and ran the thing. And I was just sort of like hopping around, trying my hand at all of them.
I think there's definitely as you've done, there's definitely a sort of like a good level to be in that. Like you can gain a lot of experiences doing them all, and you can gain a lot of experiences focusing very heavily on one. So it's just whatever you feel comfortable with, I reckon, when you're getting involved with these societies, and just finding out what works for you. I mean, you've said it already, like it's a great opportunity to just, you know, find what works and find, you know, what's exciting and interesting. And you don't
Something I found quite a lot of fun was the fact that the university societies act like a little microcosm of the real world. So, For example, there was one evening I was taking part in Battle of the Bands. I used to be in a band in my second year at uni. And on that night, we performed our gig, and, you know, we were surrounded by all the other campus bands. And then after it, we got interviewed by, you know, the student magazine, and then by news, and then URY came and talked to us, and then YSTV came and talked to us. And it was like, it's a little really fun game of pretend.
It
where
is.
We're all having our own little mini society where we're pretending we've got a TV station and a radio station. But actually, pretend is an unfair word, because these things were real. And, you know, there was actually a printed newspaper that you could read a review of your band in the next day.
Exactly.
So it's a little sandbox.
It is very
things out and make mistakes.
Yeah, it's a very closed system in a way. Like you can experience these events like Bandsock, and I mean I'm involved with Bandsock quite a lot as well. And you get the newspapers coming in, and URY as well still do interviews and still talk to people at the bands, and then it all sort of becomes this big event. And it's like it's great to see. And I think if maybe after you graduate you don't get involved with it that much, it can be a sort of like, I didn't realize how good it was at the time, you know, sort of thing. And
yeah, it is like sort of thinking back on it, the numbers don't add up. Why are these societies so alarmingly professional when there's just a tiny number of people running them, and an even tiny number of people that listen to them? But yeah, it is remarkable how good these experiences are.
It's definitely the passion. I think a lot of people that join these groups have just a tremendous amount of passion and drive. And I mean, I've met a lot of people that do these societies and that have graduated and done these societies, and so often they go on to work in professional, you know, environments, you know, whether it's radio or TV or film. It's very commonplace, I've found, and it feels good that you know, we're part of a legacy of a university that provides that. And
York was always good at punching above its weight. You know, it had fantastic societies given how small it is. And I guess what's changed now is that after I left, they built Heslington East, and the university is, I think, more than doubled in size. So those media departments are still very good, but are they still punching? I guess It doesn't matter.
No, I suppose not. But it's an interesting thing to think about anyway.